Ashes and Embers, Part 3, The Shattering Truth. It happened on a Tuesday. Tuesdays were unremarkable days, neither the fresh start of Monday nor the relief of Friday. Daniel came home early, tired from back-to-back meetings, craving the simple comfort of a quiet evening. He imagined Rachel in the kitchen, maybe chopping vegetables for one of her ambitious recipes, music playing softly in the background. But the house was silent. Her car was in the driveway, yet every room he walked through felt abandoned. The faintest sound reached him from upstairs. Muffled voices, laughter quickly hushed. His pulse quickened. For a moment, he froze at the bottom of the staircase, heart pounding so loud it drowned out everything else. He told himself he was being ridiculous. Maybe Rachel was on a work call. Maybe she had a friend over. Maybe. But the voice inside him, the one he'd been ignoring for months, whispered, "You already know." Daniel climbed the stairs quietly, each step heavier than the last. As he reached the bedroom, the door was half open. He pushed it slowly, just enough to see. The tray from his forgotten sunflower breakfast sat on the nightstand, empty coffee cup tipped on its side. And in the bed, their bed, Rachel lay tangled in sheets with another man. Daniel's world cracked. He stood frozen, staring. The man, a stranger, tall, broad-shouldered, turned first, eyes widening in alarm. Rachel followed his gaze. When she saw Daniel in the doorway, her face drained of color. "Daniel!" she gasped, scrambling upright, clutching the sheet to her chest. The stranger stammered, reaching for his clothes, but Daniel barely heard him. His ears rang, his vision tunneled. His chest felt hollow, like someone had scooped the air from his lungs. "Don't," Daniel said, his voice low, raw. "Don't say my name." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "It's not what it looks like." The absurdity of the phrase struck him like a blow. He laughed, a broken, bitter sound that echoed off the walls. "Not what it looks like? He's in our bed, Rachel. Our bed." The man mumbled something about leaving, but Daniel's glare froze him in place. "Get out," Daniel hissed, voice sharp as glass. "Now." The man didn't argue. He gathered his clothes in a rush and slipped past Daniel without another word. The sound of the front door slamming below left a silence that roared in Daniel's ears. Rachel reached for him. "Daniel, please." He stepped back. "Don't touch me." Tears streamed down her face. "I'm so sorry. I never meant for it to—" "Don't," he snapped. His chest heaved with rage, but beneath it was something worse. Grief so deep it felt like drowning. He searched her face, desperate for some explanation that would undo what he'd just seen. But all he saw was guilt. "How long?" he demanded. Rachel's lips trembled. "A few months." The words sliced through him. Months. While he'd been buying flowers, planning dinners, imagining their future, she'd been giving herself to someone else. "Why?" His voice cracked. "Why him? Why anyone?" She buried her face in her hands. "I don't know. I was lonely. You're always working, always tired, and God, Daniel, I made a mistake. A horrible mistake." "A mistake?" He barked out another laugh, sharp and humorless. "A mistake is forgetting to pay the electric bill. This is betrayal." Rachel sobbed, reaching for him again. "Please, I love you. I do. It didn't mean anything. You're my husband." Husband. The word felt hollow now, stripped of meaning. Daniel shook his head, his throat burning. "If you loved me, you wouldn't have destroyed us." He turned and walked out, her cries following him down the stairs, each step heavier than the last. He grabbed his keys, his vision blurred with tears, and left the house without knowing where he was going. Daniel drove aimlessly for hours, the city lights smearing into streaks through his windshield. His hands clenched the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles ached. Images looped in his mind. Rachel's guilty face, the stranger's body in his bed, the word months echoing like a curse. By midnight, He pulled into a deserted parking lot and shut off the engine. He sat in the silence, his chest heaving, rage simmering under his grief. Revenge whispered to him. He imagined exposing Rachel publicly, making sure everyone knew what she'd done. He imagined draining their bank account, leaving her with nothing. He imagined finding someone else, rubbing it in her face. But no fantasy dulled the ache. Daniel dropped his forehead against the steering wheel, tears finally spilling over. His marriage, the house he'd built brick by brick, memory by memory, had collapsed in a single night. And in the ruins, he didn't know who he was anymore.